What's up, dude? So I know today's Sunday and I don't typically post videos like this on Sunday, but I thought this would just be like a fun little bonus video to do. I watched a Theo Vaughn podcast episode and he had Chris Hansen on. So I started Googling about Chris Hansen because I just don't know much about him. Like I know who he is and whatever, and the whole To Catch a Predator thing and whatnot. One thing led to another, and I was like, why did To Catch a Predator ever get canceled? Because I don't know. I've seen clips of the show, or of the segment, but I've never seen like an entire, sting. So I was like, I'm still very curious why it was canceled. So this is going to be a very short, very brief video on why To Catch a Predator was canceled. So first we're going to just kind of talk about the history of To Catch a Predator a little bit as a show, and then a little history of Chris Hansen, and then we'll get into the actual cancellation. So To Catch a Predator first started as a series of segments for the NBC news magazine / reality show Dateline NBC in 2004, which I remember Dateline. I think it's still running, but as a kid, that show would just like scare the pants off of me, but my parents liked watching it. So the original name that it premiered under was Dangerous Web, which makes a lot of sense once you consider what the show is like and what it's about. And it's about, grown people talking to minors online, so it makes a lot of sense. The first installment premiered on November 11th, 2004. In the first 4 years of its production, it was the most popular segment on Dateline. So a little backstory about Chris and working with NBC and stuff. In 1981, he began his reporting career for NBC affiliate WILX in Lansing, Michigan during his senior year at Michigan State University. Later, he moved to WFLA in Tampa, Florida, and reported for various newspapers and radio stations in Michigan, and WXYZ in Detroit. In 1988, he was hired as an investigative reporter and anchor at WDIV in Detroit. In 1993, Chris joined NBC News as a correspondent for the news magazine Now with Tom Brokaw and Katie Couric. The magazine didn't last very long. It's, not in production anymore. He covered major events for Dateline, such as the Columbine High School massacre, the Oklahoma City bombing, the Unabomber, and the TWA Flight 800 disaster. So very, big events. Chris did most of Dateline's coverage of 9/11 along with the operations of Al-Qaeda. He uncovered a lot of information about them. He he broke the story of one group being in connection with Al-Qaeda and stuff, and he was the first person to report on it, or to be part of a big network reporting on it. So he had a lot of really notable things, stories under his belt, and he had done a lot already. So the first two investigations of To Catch a Predator didn't include law enforcement officers, and the people caught in the sting were allowed to leave voluntarily. However, Dateline would provide all the video and transcripts to law enforcement, and then eventually the suspects would be arrested. However, investigations after that would have cops present just to make things go a little bit smoother, and it was a little bit easier then for them to catch the predators. In July of 2006, Perverted Justice contacted the Murphy, Texas Police Department about working together on a sting. So the Perverted Justice was a group of volunteers that were helping in catching predators and teaching young kids about online safety and just a lot of that kind of stuff, and trying to help with law enforcement and catch pedophiles and pedophiles and people that could be predators. Chris Hansen, in an interview, he did say that he doesn't call the people that were on the show that they did a sting operation on, he didn't call them pedophiles, because pedophiles is a very definitive group of people. The people that he caught, I guess, he always referred to as predators, because maybe they were somebody that actually hadn't technically done anything to a minor. It was all online stuff, but hadn't actually come in contact with minors yet. I don't want to be super graphic about this because I'm talking about kids and whatnot, but so that's why he always referred to the people as predators and not pedophiles. Anyways, back to the story. So for weeks, a PJ, Perverted Justice, volunteer was posing as a 13-year-old boy who was messaging back and forth with INXS00, That was like their screen name. So that man claimed to be a college student and sent sexually explicit photos to the minor. On November 4th, an NBC voice actor pretended to be the 13-year-old boy and got the pseudonymous man's information that helped them identify him as none other than Louis Conrad Jr., 56 years old at the time, who was the chief felony assistant district attorney and former district attorney in Kaufman County in Texas. Chris and the Dateline crew showed up to Lewis's neighborhood on November 5th, 2006, around 8:30 a.m. in hopes of ambushing him because he wouldn't go to meet the minor that he was talking to. So they were actually trespassing on Lewis's property. So that was illegal. Not super cool, but do what you gotta do. The arrest and search warrants were hastily obtained, foregoing any integrity coordination with the Texas Rangers. And hours after Chris and the crew showed up, Murphy and Terrell police arrived hours later, but when they knocked on the door, Lewis didn't answer. At the time of the police knocking on the door, they did have a search warrant. They got it at like 2:20 p.m. that day. However, it was for the wrong city, county, and date. So that sucks. A Terrell police sergeant tried calling Lewis, but he didn't answer. At 2:40, the Terrell police chief called in the SWAT. They arrived at 3 p.m. and forced open a sliding glass back door and entered the home's den. They searched some of the house and they found Lewis's computer and a workbook titled, ironically enough, Investigation and Prosecution of Child Sexual Abuse. It was from a recent district attorney's conference. The team split up to do a more thorough search of the home, and the half that first saw Lewis at the end of the hallway said that his last words were some variation of, "I'm not gonna hurt anybody," and then he shot himself in the temple with a .380 pistol. He died within 60 minutes. Lewis's sister later sued NBC for $109 million, and the suit was resolved out of court, so we don't know what the final number was, like what she settled for. But along with Lewis, 3 other men were also caught in this sting. So, I mean, they caught, 4 people. Unfortunately, one of them died, so they couldn't be prosecuted and whatnot. But so because of this, the show was canceled. They quit doing it then, which I get it. I mean, even if they didn't pay out $109 million, like that, anything near that is a large sum of money to be shelling out. So I get it, but yeah, that is the reason that To Catch a Predator was canceled. Chris, of course, has gone on to do multiple other shows involving predators and criminals and stuff like that, which is really great. And I do think that it's great that he brings so much awareness to online safety and just protecting children. That's so important. So it's a really good thing. But anyways, yeah, there were also some false things that were said about this. Like, people claimed that Lewis started deleting stuff off of his MySpace after a certain date. He started deleting stuff. That was never proven to be true. They also claimed that he had I so don't know how to say this in a way that I won't get flagged on this video. Child on his laptop. However, that was also never proven. They took his laptop, they took a bunch of stuff, and that was just never proven. So anyways, but ultimately, this is why To Catch a Predator was canceled. If you guys have other things that you would like me to kind of look into and just do a brief, video on, comment down below. I'm always looking for fun little things, or not fun, but like interesting little things like this to do, because I find this to be very interesting. I'm also just very weird, and I like to know things about like TV shows and movies and stuff. So this was like right up my alley, super interesting. And I would not have done this had I not watched the Theo Von interview with Chris Hansen. So you guys should go check that out. But that is it for today. This is just a fun little bonus video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. But with that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week, and please make sure that you stay safe out there, because murders happen every single day, and I don't want any of you guys to be part of that. So have a good one, guys, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.